Hi, my friend. It's so nice to have you here. Let's slow down and enjoy this peaceful moment together. Before we start, now imagine a simple sandwich resting in your hands. 2 pieces of bread, a little meat, cheese, or vegetables inside. It looks ordinary, but hidden between those slices is a story of ancient travelers, busy workers, powerful nobles, and one famous man who may not have invented it at all. Sandwiches are everywhere. Children carry them to school. Workers eat them during short lunch breaks. Travelers buy them at stations, airports, and street shops. Every country has its own bread, fillings, and flavors, but the basic idea remains the same. Place food inside bread, hold it in your hands, and take it with you. It feels modern, yet its history is much older than most people imagine. But who truly invented the sandwich? Did the idea begin with a busy English nobleman, or had people been eating food inside bread for thousands of years? And how did this simple meal travel from ancient roads and royal rooms to factories, schools, and kitchens around the world? To find the answer, we must go much further back than 18th century England. Long before the word sandwich existed, people were already using bread to hold food. In the ancient world, travelers, farmers, and soldiers carried flatbread with meat, cheese, vegetables, or herbs. Bread was more than part of the meal. It could also become a plate, a wrapper, and a simple way to carry food from one place to another. These early meals were not called sandwiches, but the basic idea was already there: practical, filling, and easy to eat by hand. One early example comes from Hillel the Elder, who lived more than 2,000 years ago. During Passover, he is said to have placed bitter herbs and other foods between pieces of unleavened bread. It was not the sandwich we know today, but the idea was surprisingly similar. The meal already existed. It simply did not yet have its famous name. Similar meals appeared in many places. Travelers in the Middle East filled flatbread with meat, herbs, and vegetables. Workers around the Mediterranean used bread to carry cheese, olives, or roasted food. These meals had different names, but they answered the same human need: food that was filling, simple, and easy to carry. The idea existed everywhere. It simply did not yet have one name known around the world. Now our story moves to 18th century England. Imagine a dark private room lit by candles. Wealthy men sit around a wooden table, playing cards late into the night. At the center is John Montagu, the Fourth Earl of Sandwich. His name will soon become connected to one of the world's most familiar foods. According to the most famous story, Montagu did not want to leave the card table, even when he became hungry. So he asked a servant to place some meat between 2 slices of bread. He could hold the meal in one hand and continue playing with the other. Soon, the men around him began asking for the same as sandwich. The name slowly spread. It is a wonderful story, but it may not be completely true. Another version tells a different story. John Montagu was not only a gambler, he was also a busy government official who often worked for many hours. Perhaps he asked for meat between bread because he wanted to continue working, not playing cards. So was the sandwich born from gambling, or from a long day at work? What John Montagu truly added to the story is still debated. The meal itself was clearly much older than he was. But something important changed in 18th century England. A familiar way of eating received a name that would soon travel far beyond noble homes. We will return to that detail near the end of our journey. Once the name became popular, the sandwich slowly moved beyond wealthy homes. It appeared in taverns, inns, and busy streets. Travelers could eat it without a table, a knife, or a fork. What had been linked to an English nobleman was becoming useful to ordinary people. A simple meal for anyone who needed to eat quickly and keep moving. This usefulness became especially important during wars and long journeys. Imagine a tired soldier sitting beside a road, opening a small bundle of bread, cheese, and meat. Sailors and travelers also needed food they could carry and eat without plates or knives. In difficult times, a sandwich could turn a few simple ingredients into a complete meal. It was practical, dependable, and easy to share when comfort was difficult to find. Then came the Industrial Revolution. Cities grew larger, factories became louder, and working days became longer. Many workers had only a short break for lunch. They needed food that was cheap, filling, and easy to carry. The sandwich was perfect. A worker could wrap it in paper, place it in a pocket or bag, and eat it quickly near the factory before returning to work. The sandwich became more than a convenient meal. It became food shaped by a faster world where every minute mattered. The sandwich also became adaptable, meaning it could easily change for different people and different lives. A poor worker could fill it with a little cheese or leftover meat. A wealthy family could use finer bread and expensive ingredients. It could be served hot or cold, simple or carefully prepared. This flexibility helped the sandwich move between social classes and become a meal almost anyone could make. Across the Atlantic, the sandwich found a new home in America. Growing cities were filled with workers, travelers, students, and immigrants from many different countries. They brought their own breads, meats, cheeses, sauces, and cooking traditions. In train stations, small cafes, markets, and busy streets, sandwiches became an easy meal for people on the move. America did not create the sandwich, but it helped turn it into something deeply personal, shaped by local ingredients, family memories, and the many cultures meeting in one place. Soon, different American cities created sandwiches of their own. Philadelphia became known for the cheesesteak. New Orleans had the po' boy. Families made peanut butter and jelly for school lunches. Each sandwich carried the taste of its place and the people who lived there. A simple meal could now tell a local story, one made from bread, memory, and everyday life. For many immigrants, a sandwich became more than a quick meal. It was a way to carry the taste of home into a new country. Families used familiar spices, meats, vegetables, and sauces, then combined them with ingredients they found in America. The result was something both old and new. Some people sold these sandwiches from small shops or street carts, slowly building a better life. Between two pieces of bread, they preserved memory, identity, and hope. For many people, sandwiches are also part of childhood. A parent prepares one early in the morning, wraps it carefully, and places it inside a school bag. Hours later, a child opens it at lunch and finds a familiar taste from home. These simple meals may not seem important at the time, but years later they can return as warm memories. Then sliced bread changed everything. Machines could cut each loaf into neat, even pieces, making sandwiches faster to prepare at home. Parents packed them for school, and workers carried them to lunch. The sandwich was already popular, but sliced bread made it almost effortless. A simple meal became part of everyday life. By the 20th century, sandwiches were part of everyday life. Workers carried them in lunchboxes, and children took them to school. Families could prepare several quickly, save money, and use simple ingredients from home. Advertising presented the sandwich as convenient, easy to make, carry, and eat almost anywhere. Soon, fast food restaurants changed the sandwich again. Burgers, submarine sandwiches, and ready-made meals became easy to find almost everywhere. Customers could choose their bread, meat, cheese, vegetables, and sauces. The sandwich was now faster, more personal, and available to more people than ever before. Over time, the sandwich moved far beyond its simple beginnings. It could still be a cheap meal wrapped in paper, but it could also appear in elegant restaurants, made with handmade bread, expensive meat, and carefully prepared sauces. The basic idea stayed the same, yet the experience changed completely. A sandwich could be humble or luxurious, ordinary or artistic. What mattered was not only what rested between the bread, but the care, culture, and purpose behind it. Around the world, each culture gave the sandwich its own character. Vietnam created bánh. Japan made katsu sando. France had croque, monsieur. And Spain enjoyed bocadillo. The breads were different, the fillings were different, but the human idea remained the same. Place a complete meal inside bread and carry it easily from one place to another. Among these global sandwiches, Vietnamese bánh offers one of the clearest examples of how history and culture can transform a simple meal. Its long, crisp bread came from French influence, but Vietnamese cooks made the sandwich completely their own. They filled it with meat, fresh herbs, pickled vegetables, chili, and rich sauces. The result was light, colorful, and full of contrast. Bánh mì was born from a difficult history, yet over time it became a proud symbol of Vietnamese creativity. It shows how food can carry the past, change through daily life, and become something new. Why has the sandwich lasted for so long? Because it asks very little from us. It needs no grand table and no special tools. It can wait quietly inside a bag and travel to school, work, a park, or a hospital room. Simple, flexible, and easy to carry, it fits into almost every kind of life. A sandwich can quietly reveal the life of the person holding it. It may show where they come from, what they can afford, or which flavors remind them of home. One may be prepared by a parent before sunrise. Another may be sold by an immigrant building a new future. Even a simple meal can carry memory, identity, care, and hope. Earlier, I promised to explain why the Earl of Sandwich may not deserve all the credit. People had placed food inside bread for thousands of years, before John Montagu was born. What he gave the meal was something different, a name, because that name was connected to a memorable story. It spread through England and eventually around the world. He simply gave an ancient human habit a name the world would never forget. So the next time you hold a sandwich, pause for a moment. Between those two pieces of bread are traces of ancient travelers, factory workers, immigrants, soldiers, children, and families. It may be a quick lunch, a taste of home, or a memory prepared with care. A sandwich is not only food between bread. It is a small piece of history held gently between two hands. Now I would love to hear from you. What is your favorite sandwich? Is it filled with meat, cheese, eggs, vegetables, or something special from your country? Tell me in the comments. Your answer can be short and simple. I would be happy to read it. If this story helped you understand English more naturally, please like the video and subscribe. Join us again for another slow journey through history. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and stay curious. Take care, my friend.